you join Willamette, like I do, and then you have to put up with their frustrating, incompetent bureaucracy. So I wouldn't recommend that. And you still pay for most everything there too.
I use ODS right now.
Yeah, well, I usually do that, but I had switched, and now I'm sorry I did it.
But I think, you know, and also my biggest thing is I wonder, you know, this contract has been in place for what, 6 years now? 5 years?
Yeah.
Where was all the talking about it 5 years ago when we first did it?
Well, it was not an issue.
It wasn't an issue.
Because, you know, they weren't picking on the working man at that time. Right now, there's a class struggle. I mean, that's what it is. Bankers and the banks have taken billions of our tax dollars for their benefit, but the lower classes, i.e. bus drivers, are getting hammered because we have medical care. And it's just a class warfare kind of thing. And of course they're using propaganda techniques on the general public to turn the general public against us as being undeserving, or we're having all this coverage that every American should have. Every American should have the coverage that we have. But they're trying to portray it as something that nobody should have or something. And the public, being the ignorant people they are not seeing the truth of the matter. They think, well, they're jealous, number one. Jealousy and hatred always can play into these things for political purposes. And it's working on a lot of the public. A lot of the public hates TRIMET anyway. You know, for unknown reasons.
You know, to be honest with you, as far as my philosophical leanings, you and I probably differ politically on a lot of that stuff. But as far as TRIMET goes, TRIMET and the union negotiated. I mean, we all voted on it, so we have to assume that it was in good faith 6 years ago. Stuff like that shouldn't be played out in public, even if it is tax dollars, because a lot of misinformation gets put out there. People have a lot of misperceptions of what's going on. Just like what's being said right now. We don't have totally freebie health care. You know? Right?
Yeah, I know. I think the whole thing is personally I find it's insulting, because there's so many other things in the government that are so much more wasteful and have no benefit to the citizens at all, that to be attacking this, it's an attack on all American workers as far as I'm concerned.
Well, think about, you know, now I don't know, so I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head. But what kind of benefits do other civil servants get? Firemen?
I don't know, but that shouldn't even be an issue. I mean, we don't have any luxury services here. We have good health care services. We have some decent retirement. Now, the question would be, is they should have equivalent to what we have. I mean, every American is deserving of this. A working man, you're working here for your living, okay? You're being a productive member of society. Now, the society has an obligation to its productive members to provide some kind of a reasonable form of retirement for you. And Social Security is not going to do it. And there's a lot of questions about that, too, because that's been rated for the general tax purposes also.
Right.
All right, now that's the point. Now that they're spending trillions on wars and trillions on the Defense Department, all these other things are going on that don't directly benefit American citizens. At least this is directly benefiting us and our families, and we're all American citizens. And that trickle-down effect is good. So,
well, I'm not willing to go that far. Like I said, but when you make a contract with someone, you ought to honor it.
yeah, well, that's the whole thing, is the contract's up.
That is the whole thing.
Right, and then they're going to try to stop it right now.
Yeah, that's not fair. And it's messed around.
Well, you know, I don't know, politically you're more conservative than I. I just see the government as having...
I know. Hi.
Hi.
Going up to the max into the zoo.
So this is how you talk to the box?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
Look at all these people riding with 63. And they're eliminating it on Sundays and Saturdays in September.
How was everything?
Great.
Still a few roses over there to look at?
Yeah, just a few.
They're not at their peak, but they're still very nice.
Yeah, what a shame, man. You know, you look at this route and boy, what a penny wise, pound foolish thing to do, you know. Just to cut the zoo route? I mean, that's like cutting Portland, you know. Why don't we just cut Portland or something? How can you cut the zoo route?
As a matter of fact, I talked to some people today that said we were probably going to move here to Portland. They were from Detroit.
Yeah.
One of the few places with a worse economic or
Detroit. Yeah, well, Detroit has the auto industry, which is in shambles, of course.
bad. Anyway, as a result of riding this bus and taking a look at Portland from the perspective of Washington Park, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this really takes you on the tour of the nicest the part of Portland that Portland appeals to visitors. And where do they go? They go here. I mean, where else are they going to go? So to eliminate the bus service to the places that people want to see, it's crazy. You know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. What are they thinking?
I don't know.
They're not thinking.
Well, they're thinking with.
They think, well, okay, this isn't
Check
a
bus.
packed bus. That, you know, well, we want at least 20 riders per bus or something. And I mean, that's
That's not going to happen on this bus.
yeah, but it's not how you're supposed to look at public services anyway. I didn't burn my extra battery on this one. I ran out the door so fast to catch you.
Kingston and Fairview.
That's a cool idea, John. Thanks for thinking of this, man. I'm glad you.
Well, I thought, it's.
You know what? I didn't realize you were on it. I mean, I didn't. If I had known that, I would have done that. I didn't know that.
And,
Not that many drivers are comfortable. You're comfortable. You understand that it's a good thing. A lot of drivers are paranoid at that place. They think the company's going to get you. Well, the company is not going to get you. You know,
I think this is great. This shows off not only Portland, it shows off TRIMET.
Yes, yeah.
Part of TRIMET, really.
Absolutely.
I love talking to people and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
I like driving over this neighborhood and showing them this
Yeah. Look at how beautiful it is up here.
great neighborhood here. And actually in doing this bus, people would ask me questions that I didn't know the answer to, so it forced me to do a little research. For example, the castle that they've taken down now up here was built in either 34 or 39. So it's been here about 17 years. But now it's been condemned, and actually they've taken it all down now and they're building something else up there. And the first time I drove over here, we were driving over these tracks, and I wondered what that was all about. Come to find out that this was part of the line of the old Portland streetcar from dating back to the 1890s, from along all this street right here.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they paved it over so I don't have to dodge those cross ties anymore.